I'm just trying to get enough of the shout outs that I can. I'm going to give this over to Jewel. I'm going to let her get started. You know what I mean? So she can start getting hyped. Let's send her some hearts, y'all. Okay? We're going to welcome Jewel to Living in My Truth and let her give us some love and some wisdom and education and information on addiction and recovery.
Hi, everybody. Okay. I know y'all waiting. Y'all just newsy. Let me loosen up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to start from my childhood. Growing up as a child, I was brought up in a strict home setting. I had to grow up ahead of time. Meaning my mother had a hoagie shop for 30 years. So as a child, I always had to be the one fixing meals from the 6th grade on. I'm very strict. Oh, God.
Take your time.
So I had to constantly cook all the time, come from home from school. My mother was the best mother she can be. You know, she was very busy. I had a missing parent, which was my father. May he rest in peace.
Mr. P.
No, that was my stepfather.
That was I didn't know
That's my sister Denise's father.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was my stepfather.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that.
Growing up, it was a little rough, you know. As soon as my mom got up, she from Alabama, get up, we had to clean up and wash walls, baseboards, which I'm grateful and thankful that she brought me up that way. From there, I met Margaret and Gina. They used to come over to my house after school, keep me company because I really couldn't go out. Mm-hmm. So, as time go on, you know, I go to Chester High. I went to Chester High School. I was a good girl. Mm-hmm. I loved being in band.
That's right, you was in the high
team. Mm-hmm. So, from graduation, I was supposed to go on the service. Me, Margaret, and Gina was supposed to go on the service. Only Gina went, the one Eugenia. Mm-hmm. And I planned to get pregnant so I can get out my mom's house. Mm-hmm. Boy, did I had no clue on life in general. Mm-hmm. So I left home running. And that was my plan, to get pregnant so I can get out of that house. So as time go on, you know, I began to, you know, put the clothes on, get dressed, and hang out, and, you know, ran the wrong crowd. Mm-hmm. And they said, here, try this. At that time, I was going with a drug dealer. Mm-hmm. Let me back up. I had my daughter, Jewel.
Okay.
Got a place. Got out of mom's house. I wasn't ready to be a mother.
Mm-hmm. Me,
you know, I lied to my daughter's father, told him I was taking birth control, but I wasn't. So as time go on, I meet this drug dealer. You know, remind you I got my daughter. Mm-hmm. I was around a crowd of women after the bar closed. I remember him proposing to me. However, he was already married, and I was in so much pain behind that. So after the bar closed, went over the young lady's house. They said, try this. I tried it. I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't get anything. At that time, I got the scales, you know, I had stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, in my house. So I didn't get it that time. So I met this other young lady. She was doing the same thing. And once I got it, I got it.
Mm-hmm. You get it?
And I began to constantly, you know, it was a slow effect, right? I kept trying to get it, trying to do it. I was throwing stuff out. But when I got it, my life began to spiral down. You know, I've done some things I'm not proud of, which we all have.
Absolutely.
Some people got skeletons in the closet. Some people got graveyards.
It don't discriminate. So
it doesn't discriminate. Yeah. So I continued to use. So I gave my daughter Jewel to her father. May he rest in peace. He was a good guy. I had babies by 2 good men. I gave my daughter to his father. Her father, I set her on the doorstep and told him, come get her. I didn't want nothing bad to happen to my children. Because I'm saying children, I'll get into the other one, the other daughter that I had in a minute. Mm-hmm. So I told him, I knocked on the door, set your daughter on the step. I wanted my daughter to be well taken care of because there's some crazy people out here, some crazy men. And I wanted my daughter to be nurtured and cared for. So after that,
go ahead.
As time go on, my disease just took over. That crack is no joke. And it starts with trying to cover up pain. And sometimes a lot of adults are trapped in an adult body, but still suffering from their childhood.
Talking.
And they can't identify with it yet.
Talking. Yes.
As time go on, my daughter, you know, sometimes when you have done damage, that sometimes never ends because that person has to heal from the wounds that I gave them.
Absolutely.
You know,
I feel you.
It's like a tree branch.
Girl, you're putting chills in my body because I feel you. So it's fine. It's fine.
Time go on. My disease of addiction just kept going full-fledged. I would always dress up. I always liked to dress. But my insides I was a dressed up bum to me.
Go ahead.
You know, I didn't want to feel the hurt and the pain.
True.
I didn't want to feel. And that's when I look at a person that's struggling today, I feel for them because it's something they're not getting in touch with. You know, they're running from pain. You know, yes. I'm not going to give up too many details, but women, you know what it was like. Tracy, you know what it was
Absolutely.
like.
Absolutely, I do.
However, I would be praying to God in the midst of my storm. I would be just praying. So my disease, I was using probably maybe 20-something years a total. I thank God.
Go ahead.
I don't look like what I've been through.
Go ahead.
I thank God that He saved my life. I was in the jungle out there. Some of the stuff I had to experience, some people wouldn't be able to take it. I got tough skin now. You know, I crawled through that jungle and I snatched my crown.
Go ahead.
And I ran. And never forget, I was never the type that wanted to be that wanted to rob people and steal from people. But it was this barbershop. Excuse me. And Donald would nurture me and care for me, and I took his money, right? And I took the door off the hinges, and I knew that it was time for me to get out of Chester because I wasn't into stealing and all that stuff. That was my bottom for me. But growing up, everything was painful, so I was running away from pain. Got mixed up with the wrong crowd and got hooked on the drugs. But as time go on, so my father, may he rest in peace, Brown Sugar. A lot of y'all might know him, Brownie. They called him Brownie. He had the store at 6th and Jeffrey.
Yeah.
That was my dad.
Yeah, really?
Drove a burgundy Corvette.
Yeah. I remember that story.
He would come looking for me all the time, and he had a bad heart. So for a long time, I thought that I was the cause of my father to die. No, it wasn't that. It was just time to go.
Okay.
All my life growing up, I worked at Tar's Flavors, my dad's store, my mother's store. So now remind you, I told you that as a child, I had to grow up before I was ready. I didn't have the normal childhood life. Mm-hmm. So I relocate to a place called Williamsport, PA. I thought I was going up there to a recovery house or something. And my father, I went up there for him in the 90s. I didn't go for me. The pain wasn't great enough for me yet. So with that being said, I came back here to Chester, where I'm from in Chester, PA. And I continue my torturing myself, skull dragging myself, because I wasn't done. I didn't want my father to hurt. I hurt everybody in my family. They couldn't understand what was going on. I couldn't understand it sometimes neither, because the whole thing was crazy.
Just couldn't
You go count.
Yeah.
You looking through windows and digging on the floor and all that stuff. It was just crazy. So, came back, more self-destruction. I met a gentleman, so I go back to Williamsport. Met a gentleman, I was sliding down the steps, and he started bringing donuts to a 12-step program. May he rest in peace. Let me say this. All the drugs that I pushed in my system, I'm still here.
Thank you,
I had two. I told you I had two babies by two good men. Bruce, Huey. Huey was raised in a 29-room house, East Oak Lane, Philadelphia. He had died from colon cancer. My oldest daughter, they 10 years apart. My oldest daughter, father died because they kept cutting on him, and he said, "Just let me die." Never drank. I think he drank one time and then regurgitated it. Was regurgitating. So he never drank. All he did was ran track, talk on the CB. I don't know. He just said, "Let me die." But it's been times that I thought I was going to die. I used so many drugs. I would buy 8 balls at a time. I thought I wouldn't make it the next day, and the insanity of it is that I will wrap it up for the next morning once my chest start feeling better. So I had another daughter. I told you they're 10 years apart. Jewel is 41, Nicole is 31. And I love you guys. So with Nicole, I gave her to her father too. And he resented me up until the day that he died.
Because people think that you doing this out of like malice and you don't care, and they look at what you become. You know what I mean? But in our hearts as addicts, we really try to do right. We try to do well. You know what I mean? Yes. I left my kids on anybody. Basically, that I had a possibility that I could do it with, even though it was family and friends. Yeah. So I feel you. I just popped in because they look at us like that junkie. That's the purpose of this show, y'all. That's the purpose of coming on and bringing people on to share their stories. You know what I'm saying? So you can hear how disease doesn't discriminate. And most of us women has gone through this.
Yes.
You know, I commend you though. I commend you for sharing your story. I
Yes.
commend you for everything that you tell me because it sounds just like mine to a certain degree.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I had Nicole, ended up giving her to her father as well. That reminds me, I'm feeling all this pain because no mother wants to carry a child for almost 10 months, and then your disease of addiction tells you, man, listen, I gotta go and get me some more stuff. I ain't got time for them. I gotta get one more. One was too many, and 1,000 was never enough.
Absolutely.
You got enough to get started, but you ain't got enough to finish. I thank God. I know some people, some girls that didn't make it, out of the streets, out of addiction. I went to jail 2 times, disorderly conduct. The second time, I knew that I was on probation, and my disease said, "Girl, go ahead, get some more, get some more, get some more, get some more, get some more cocaine. Cook it up." I had to get a urine in the courthouse down in Williamsport, and I knew I was gonna burn that cup because I knew I had been getting high. So I ran out the courthouse and I went home and proceeded to get high. So my probation officer called me and said, "Listen, we're going to catch you." I said, "Catch me when you can." So they gave me 6 months. And then that turned into another 3 months because I told them right till their fingers fell off. I wasn't used to jail. I was a little mouthy.
A little?
I told them right till their fingers fall off. I'll never forget me and a girl in the jail cell fighting. I said, "Don't call no COs, don't call nobody." I was just crazy. So they took me back to court, gave me an additional 3. I almost passed out. Because jail was not for me. I thought, good. How you watch the movies, like the girl's gonna get you and stuff. I said, "Nobody better not mess with me." Going there big and bad. I didn't know what to expect. But however, I went to jail, got out, lost everything, lost my car. And I had to start over again. I don't know how many times I had to start over. So I come back to Chester again. I think I went to Williamsport probably maybe 3 times.
You went back to the same rehab?
No, Williamsport is not a rehab.
I
had chose to go back to Williamsport.
Okay, that was another area.
It's a lot of recovering, people, individuals there. So I come back again, back at it again. So I'm trying to remember everything. I come back doing the same thing, and I knew that I had to get out of here again. I had the bus money to go back to Williamsport, and the girl that took me got me there late up at the bus station.
So did you go into a recovery program in Williamsport?
No,
or was it just a place where people didn't get high? Like a recovery
but it's cocaine there too.
Oh, it's everywhere.
When I got high there, they was giving little crumbs for $20. I went to take somebody's head off. Little pebbles. So I had to come back and thought I could do it right.
Here.
But But it got worse and worse. Each time you go out, it get worse and worse. So I got the young lady took me up Philadelphia to the Greyhound. She got me there late. I missed the bus. So with that $80, she brought me back. She was paid for taking me. However, I went and got some more coke. So I'm over top of the barbershop, just tiptoeing all around. Young lady, did you get your pass? Yeah, I got my pass. Donald always could tell when I was lying for some reason. I wasn't, usually I'll be honest, I knew I had the $80 worth of coke, so at that point I was tired, y'all. I was praying I would have the gospel music on. I would go in the bar with a tambourine. I was crazy. You know, God carried me through everything.
Amen.
I got out of here. And this guy on the bus, no, I went to the corner. What was that? It was a notary place. His name was Jeff. And I said, Jeff, I just need this amount of money to get back. He said, listen, I'm going to give you the rest of the money you need because I'm running out of rate. You're a pest. He never tried to get fresh with me or anything. He was a good guy. So from that point on, I made a decision to take my life back. So get on the bus, got me there on time. This guy on the bus had some beer. And I knew that alcohol is a drug.
Absolutely.
And I refused that beer. I said, if I drink that beer, I'm going to go back up to Williamsport. And I'm going to do the same thing again. So I go to Williamsport. And they say, you got to change the way you dress. Because I used to dress with the heels, with the little short skirts on. Because I have some beautiful legs.
Oh, okay.
And look, say you got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you dress. So I began to throw them clothes away. I began to rebuild my thinking, and also rebuild my clothing.
Right. It's called change.
Yeah,
it's called changing.
Yes. So when I began to not do some stuff, because addiction is not only with the drugs, you can be addicted to money, sex, whatever the situation may be. Yeah. So I had to not do some things that I was used to doing. You understand
Absolutely,
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I began to change the negative into the positive. So now I got to get out and find a job, right? My first job was at Taco Bell. Remind you, I told y'all all my life I worked at my mom's restaurant, Taurus Flavors. This was all family. So I really didn't have a work history.
Right.
You know, understand? So I had to learn how to even fill out applications.
Wow.
Right? So I had to tell myself, I was like a high on time. I did everything else on time. So I could be to work on time.
Go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead.
So first job was that Olive Garden. As time goes on, I'm getting different jobs. So I get to Williamsport. I landed in an apartment. That was over 16 years ago, right? Because I'm 16 years clean now.
Go ahead.
February 8th,
let's give them hearts
we
up,
celebrated 16 years.
16 whole years. Let's give them hearts up,
uninterrupted clean time.
Absolutely. God is so good.
By 1 minute, 1 second, that I didn't have the desire. But my desire to stay clean was more than desire to use.
Go ahead.
My disease checked in on a daily basis.
Go ahead.
To see whether I was ready to check out.
Go ahead.
It's not easy. But it is easy.
Simple.
It's simple. Keep it simple.
Yep.
Right?
Go ahead, girl. You
as time goes on, right? Job after job up in Williamsport, PA. I was a manager at a place called Fire Tree. Fire Tree is a nonprofit organization. It was for the kids for after school. I was the manager of the kitchen there. It was so many responsibilities, and I loved it. I had to go to the food bank. I had to do all kinds of paperwork. It was very vital for me to do the counts, all kind of paperwork I had to do. And Henrietta Hadley, she was the director. So I said, Henrietta Hadley, why are you so hard on me? Right? She says, because I need to be hard. This is how you're going to learn. So I began to follow everything that she told, follow all instructions. I couldn't do things my way. From that point on, God was already setting me up.
Go ahead.
God will do things beyond your wildest dream.
Better.
When something don't work out, because he has something better for you. Right? So as time go on, from all the jobs that I had, I began to take a little bit from this job, a little bit from that job, and a little bit from that job. But the fire tree is what set me up to have my own business.
Go ahead.
Right? Beyond my wildest dream. And that was one of the things I asked God for. I always wanted my own restaurant. And he gave me that. It was this guy, Jimmy Webb, owned a newspaper company. He said, you know, there's something special about that Jewel. He would come to the fire tree all the time. He was wealthy. He was financially stable. And he wanted me to be in something called the Taste of Home. And he said, I'm telling you, Jewel, you got to cook for 750 people. So he took me, he said, I tell you what, I'm going to buy everything you need. He bought my big pot, everything. I think he spent like $2,000.
Works, girl.
$800.
I tell you, God works.
And you know, he said, I'm just going to put it as a write-off. So I was in a Taste of Home. I remember the first time I made the newspaper when I began to get clean. I might be skipping around, but just stay with me, y'all. I said, oh, I ain't do nothing. Because I was so used to the negativity, right? But it was something positive.
You become immune to negativity.
Yes. Yeah. It says cooking and good food are on the mind of this Jewel. That was the first time. So, at the fire tree, I let them know I was opening up my own restaurant. And she said, well, Jewel, we didn't hire you for no 4 hours. We're going to have to let you go. I said, wait a minute, hold on. I ain't got the restaurant yet. So, from that point on, I had 30 days to get the restaurant in order. And that I did.
You go ahead.
I got the U-Haul, went and got the, it was this gentleman that I met. He was very nice. May he rest in peace. You know, a lot of people died from COVID. I went and got my shot. And I said, please, get your shots. He said, well, you got to die from something. I ain't, you know. He didn't believe, you know, poop stink. So, I had cooked for him, and he said, you know, your food is so good. I got to back up some. Before that, I used to cook and invite people over. All I wanted people to do was just conversate with me. They would eat my food and run, tell me how good it was, and I was still left there alone. So as time went on, I was a waitress at a cafe called Leslie's, and I put together just chicken, fish, a meal, potato salad, you know, just put together a small menu. And Leslie said, since we close at 12 o'clock, you could just come on in. You know, so they gave me a key to go sell my food, and I did pretty good. So as time go on, back to going to my restaurant, you know, I opened up the restaurant 2016.
Where was that?
In Williamsport, PA.
Okay, it's
I thank God for Google, because Google is a great way to find out information. I knew that I had to become surf safe, all that stuff, because it's very important to know how to handle food, because you can get people sick.
Right.
So as time go on, you know, I thank God. I gotta say this. I thank God for the 12-step program.
Go ahead.
they saved my life.
Mm.
I don't want to break any traditions. However, the 12-step program that I was in saved my life. Because it was like I was a little baby.
Mm.
I was just birthed. Someone just gave me birth. There was a whole lot that I had to learn in life. So I come back. You know, the restaurant was 2.5, almost 3 years. I shut it down. I had to have a major back surgery because when you have a business, I had to go out and work an 11 to 7 job because you got 2 overheads. So I was kind of burning myself out, but I had to have a surgery and I shut the restaurant down, snatched my whole world. But I still love to cook to this day. I'm still an entrepreneur, you know, but I don't have a physical building. I don't have a building. But in God's time,
it will come.
He gonna kick some doors down for me because my food is amazing, and I'm gonna let you guys know something. Some people never let you lay your past down.
Well, that's medication now.
I'm not where I used to be. You know, and I don't care who don't like me because of whatever, from my addiction or whatever. God already forgave me for everything that I've done. You know, it's a sad situation. It really is sometimes. You know how people still want to hold your past against you.
Well, that's what people do.
I had to correct people on that. No, I ain't crazy. Keep thinking I'm crazy. If you want to. Crazy people don't elevate. And what word am I looking for? Crazy people can't pass major tests. Crazy people can't do a lot. I've been on many platforms.
Go ahead.
You know, God has placed some beautiful people in my life. I've cooked for millionaires. I've cooked for banks. I've done so many positive things. But some people give you information that ain't even true. Listen, the information, sometimes when you get it, they be done added something and they be done subtracted something.
That's right.
You know, and it's okay. It's okay. I don't know what God has planned for me, but I know it's all good. God bless me once I put the drugs down to purchase a home. You know, when He blessed me the way He did, I didn't run out buying fancy cars.
Go ahead.
I said, I'm going to keep my little car I got and keep the truck I got. You know who I'm trying to impress? I'm not trying to impress anyone.
Somebody said that part. Gotcha, Nicole.
So, for those out there that's struggling, how much time I got?
Go ahead, you good.
I'm good.
Time is only time.
Okay, all right. For those that's struggling, please reach out to someone. I do a lot of unseen things for the sick and suffering. I don't have to put it on Facebook. I don't have to let y'all know what I'm doing. You know, how many of y'all go out and see somebody in distress and say, are you hungry? Let me feed you. You know, I don't have to brag about stuff that's done, because when you do something from your heart,
it's no need to brag.
God already sees it anyway.
That's right.
I don't believe. I'm one that I don't believe in that. You know, I do a lot of stuff, unseen, for the sick and suffering. Those are the ones I target. The people that strung out on drugs. I don't know, y'all. That was basically, the story. I'm not going to get nasty and grimy with it, because everybody know what comes along with that. I'm a beautiful person from the inside out. Yes, I'm a work in progress.
That's right.
Only God knows. Only God knows everything that He has planned for me from this point on. I don't know. I gave y'all, from the childhood. I didn't want to go too deep into that. I got to be careful of some things that I do say because of I don't want to bring no harm to anybody. But it was rough. I had a rough, and then I get clean. You get clean, and then you have to deal with different personalities. You guys, it's so many mean, evil people, but it's so many nice people too. Some stuff had been done to me that I would not even think that a person would do. People that I trusted. I try to be as nice as possible. But that old girl, I try to keep her locked in the basement.
Go ahead.
But she's still in me.
She still exists.
I got one. If I make one bad decision, I can lose everything.
That's right.
And it only take one split second to go and make that bad decision and go pick up something.
Absolutely.
Pick up the alcohol, pick up the drugs, and you will lose everything. I got too much at the state.
Go ahead.
I'm not perfect. My mouth. I'm working on my mouth.
Girl,
some people take you there. Some people will take you there. Some stuff that I had to experience coming back to Chester. I came back where it all started because I knew I had a foundation.
So tell me this: did you ever go to rehab?
I went to rehab twice. But as soon as I got out, it's not the rehab. It's about what you're going to do when you get out the rehab.
Exactly.
I will always walk away from the rehab. Once I got rested up, I will always leave the rehab.
Okay, I wanted to ask that question because I hadn't heard you say that yet.
Yes.
Just to dig into your story a little deeper.
Yes. I went to rehab probably twice, but I would stay probably 2 days and I'll come right back out and get high.
You just left.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar to a whole lot of us, don't it?
So, I don't know, y'all. Tracy, I gave him what I'm gonna give him.
Hey, well, that's awesome. You gave them what you chose to give. Yes, you know what I mean? And that's what this is all about. Yes. I can't, like I said, I don't tell people what to say when they come on this live.
Yes.
People share what they want to share, like you just did. You gave a lot, whether or not you know it or not.
But if you want to ask me something,
you got questions on here. I'm trying to keep up with them so that I can, I'm going to throw them at you if I can find some more.
Yes.
One says, yeast by yeast for 20 years, how did time feel for you?
How did time feel for me?
This comes from Danielle. Yeah, she said, like, basically, how did it feel? From the 20 years of being out there. Is that what you're saying, Danielle?
Oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was painful. That's how I felt. A lot of people would make fun and they would pick on you and try to pick on me and stuff, but I always stood my ground with people.
There's a lot of people on here that's wishing you love, that's praying for you, that is listening to your story. They're getting really a little bit more out of it to get to know you other than what they used to look at you as.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's all part of this. You know what I mean? As far as what you were saying, is people planting the, she crazy and she this and she that, and they don't let your past go. For me, my past is my medication.
Yes.
You can remember whatever you want about what I've done, but I've surrendered as well as you have. You know what I mean?
God has forgiven.
And God has, you found God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that comes first and foremost in our lives, who protect us from the people who don't know what they really talking about, but they do know what they saw.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? And we are crazy. We are beasts. We surrender to that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But today we are somebody.
That's right.
You follow
Always
what I'm saying? Today we're children of God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we have accepted the things that we can't change, and we're changing things that we can, and learning each and every day the wisdom to know the difference.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing to be shamed about where we was, because like you said, it was psychotically crazy.
It was.
You had no control, and we went into the game having fun. You know what I mean? I
At
had
the
fun while I
beginning.
was out there, but
At the beginning.
and at the beginning you were saying, you know, you went out there and then you went here and you did this and then you just went berserk. You know, you got crazy. You know, like I said, it was fun at the beginning. We didn't expect to become junkies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I'm a junkie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a junkie. I'm an alcoholic. I'm all that shit.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? Because we have to surrender to it all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And what works for one may not work for the next.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And people that seen me and know how I was when I was out there, hey, look, they people will still look at you for what you was. You know what I mean? But we live for today.
Yes.
We live one day at a time, and we learn how to deal with that. So in recovery, it's a learning process every day because we got to learn how to get stable and maintain. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're going to maintain the good of it, and we're going to maintain the bad of it.
Yes.
And we're going to still keep digging deep for the rest of it that's down in us, that's up in that matrix. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In our head, it's like being in the matrix. That's how I share it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The brain pieces is like all over the freaking place. You know what I mean? And the heart ain't quite cooperating with it. You follow what I'm saying? But that's what recovery taught us, and surrendering taught us, and those 12 steps she talking about, that I live by the same 12 steps.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? And it taught us how to put these things back together again with God's care, God's love, and God chose us
Yes.
for the walk. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This is our walk. This is what He had me doing.
Yes.
This is what He had you doing. You know, you tried to hide from me for the longest time.
I did.
But look where He brought you though.
I would peek my head in and watch it a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
and then I'll hurry up and get out.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how God works. I was at the casino watching the Super Bowl, and she was back there decorating. I saw your husband first. He said, "Tracy back there," and I hesitated for a minute, right? And I said, "Let me go back there and say hi to her." So I ended up giving her one of my cards, and she contacted me. I said, "I knew it. I knew it was going to happen."
That's all I needed was to connect.
All
All I needed
so
was to connect.
I knew it was going to come. But God, I serve a awesome God.
Absolutely.
Y'all. When I tell y'all, being clean, staying clean, without my using time outweigh my clean time. Right?
Say it again.
Me using all those years, it's more years than I have clean. I used for 20-something years. So in my journey, I gotta constantly do maintenance.
Absolutely. We do. Look.
You know, constantly do
Look,
maintenance.
just because my years is what they are, don't mean maintenance stop.
That's
Maintenance have to be every single day.
Yes.
Always. You always have to stay aware. You know what I mean? Because this vicious disease that we share is
vicious.
cunning, baffling, and powerful.
It's
this thing
vicious.
is vicious. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
vicious. This is the reason why I just started doing this live.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Working in the field all them years is one thing, but look how many people that is touching, you know, today, and have family members and loved ones to understand how this thing works. Because again, we're looked at as the worst people and the beast. You know what I mean?
We are
because that's what we are.
We are actually
We are,
people.
but we are so somebody. We are so somebody.
We the bomb. We
We are so somebody.
We are the
You
bomb.
hear what I'm saying? And you know what? God said it's gonna stop, and that's what it did once we started listening to Him.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? And again, with the help of the 12 steps, you know, allowed me, and the help of people in rooms, you know, allowed me to learn how to listen. You know, because we don't listen, y'all. We don't know how to do that anymore. So that means we can't hear you, no matter how much or how long you've been talking to us or telling us to do this. If we don't learn how to listen, we are never going to be able to hear you. You know, and hear any and everybody, pastors, you know, doctors, you know, everybody. You know, if we can't hear, if we stay mute, you don't, you what you saying means nothing. But it appeared like we don't give two darns about it. But we do. We just don't know how to. Because we can't hear it even when we trying to listen. But when you hear it, you start seeing it. Then you start feeling it. Then you start living it. You know what I mean? Then you follow instructions.
Yeah.
We don't follow instructions. We don't follow directions under the influence. It's impossible. You follow what I'm saying? It's impossible. I know it was for me.
Yeah.
I can speak for me.
Yeah.
It was totally impossible. And the look you were saying, like you didn't think that that the gentleman can see when you was lying. Hell, we didn't believe we was lying. You follow what I'm saying? Our lie was our truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we become living liars. You know. Once we told one lie, we got to tell the next one and the next one and the next one. Then we'll defend it. Then we'll become it. Then we just simply live it.
Yes.
You know, it becomes a part of us. So that's the same. I share that same thing. You know, in my story. You know, I want y'all to see how disease don't discriminate. You know what I mean? Y'all heard, a lot of you heard my story. A lot of you hear how I share. You hear how I talk about the addiction and the sickness of disease. You know what I mean? This thing is a beast.
It's a beast.
It's a beast. I'm telling you, if you can live with it, God bless you.
Oh
you know what I mean? But I'm not one who could, because it was killing me. And it was doing it slowly.
Yes.
20 years.
I gotta tell you.
20 years. And we still here.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? I didn't go 20 years with it, but God, well, it felt like I went
50.
a lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah, forever. You know what I'm saying?
Say that, may my father rest in peace. Listen, he didn't know what to do. He was going with this young lady named Joyce. He took her to get hypnotized to stop smoking cigarettes, and she stopped smoking cigarettes. So he took me to the guy to hypnotize me to get off drugs. And that thing, it didn't work. It didn't work. I thought it might though.
Of course.
Of course. I said that little $125, whatever he paid, I could
have
hypnotized myself. So, may he rest. My father done everything. People done got married in my addiction. I skipped around that. I didn't mean to. And we were both using.
You and your husband?
Yes.
That's a nitro bomb.
He was on his job for 18 years. I don't understand how you could use and
work,
be productive.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, me
so
neither. I couldn't do that.
He was a good guy though. He gave me anything I wanted. However, you know, he got clean. I forgot to tell y'all that, and I need to tell y'all this, that not too long ago, maybe it's probably been a year, I had a mini stroke. And then I knew something was going on. However, they said by the time they done all the test results that my brain had healed itself. And I said no, my brain didn't heal itself. God did that. Had a couple while I was using. But I forgot to mention about my husband. My ex-husband, beautiful guy. He got clean, and that's when I was in the rehab. I'm glad you mentioned that. And he wanted me to follow suit, but I wasn't ready. So he sent the divorce papers while I was in the rehab.
While you was in rehab?
And I think I signed Mickey Mouse. I put Mickey Mouse on there to be smart. I did. I remember that. I said, you know what? Stop being selfish and self-centered. Let that man go. Let him go. Let him be happy and free. And I did that. And so when I come back, he said he married this other woman because she reminded
him of
me. He rushed into marriage again. I don't know, I had some good men in my life along the way. But I didn't know how
to receive.
The little girl must grow up. Right? You know, I told y'all that as a child, I didn't experience being a child. So there still was a lot of little girl left in me. So sometimes that little girl still screams out to this day. And my 60-year-old, I'm 60 now. I know I look like it. I look kind of good to be 60.
Okay.
You know, and I gotta say it again. I thank God I don't look like what I've been through. I've been through hell and hot water, hell and back. It seems like. However, I'm still standing.
Absolutely.
So I was one of the we are one of the chosen ones. So back to when I said I try to help the sick and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I love to cook.
Go ahead.
I love to cook. I would go out and package up platters, and I should mention it, and I'll go pass them out. I don't get on Facebook. This is what I'm doing. You know, I've done a lot of that. People stand in front of 7-Eleven, places that I go. I have went. Are you hungry? We need more of that. We need to be loving on each other. I don't know, y'all.
I'm gonna tell you
some
this,
people
honey.
don't know how to love. We can get hugs.
We got a lot of people on here that is just like rooting for you, proud of you, sending you some awesome, awesome comments. I wish I can stop them and try to get them, but they're just coming so fast, you know. But we'll get to that so I can share some of the things some of the people are saying, and you know, a lot of them. You know, and there's other people that's watching this that we don't know. They from all over the place. Yeah. You know, y'all, this is over like 100 point K something. You know, people that is actually watching this live. You know what I mean? Even if they just stopping, seeing it from what I understand and checking it out and going back to it. You know what I mean? It has touched a lot of people, and I thank God that we're able to do that. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I promised my higher power that if he would just save me from that last run, you know what I mean, that I will always give this back. And this is what I do. I try to do it not to gain fame. I could care less about some fame. I care about people's lives. I care about the people that are still sick and suffering. I care about the people who can't get this. You know what I'm saying? So I figured if we can do it this way, let's do it this way. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't go around touching people's head and say, okay, you know, you don't have this disease no more. Hell, I still got the disease. You know what I mean? You have to learn about this disease and learn how cunning, baffling, and powerful that it is. You know what I mean? And before you can do that, you have to accept the battle of surrendering. You know what I mean? Because surrendering is rough. Yeah. It's tough. You know, it becomes simple. But this whole ordeal, this whole thing has been a rough ride. You know, it's been a very rough ride. You know, and to sit here and to have you sitting here with me, girl, you know, it lets me know that it works. God works. I'm telling you. He is the greatest. You hear what I'm saying? I didn't even have a relationship with God since I was little for a long time. But I found him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it took drugs for me to do that. That's right. You follow what I'm saying? So he got my attention one way or the other. You follow? And I'm learning more and more and more about God. I feel him. I know he's there, just like you saying. You know what I mean? But, you know, did it stop me right away? No. Did I continue to fight the battle? Yes. You know what I mean? Am I eliminated from being a junkie? No. You follow what I'm saying? But I have accepted the fact that I will die with this disease. Yeah. But this disease will not be on top of me. Not today. No. You know what I mean? None of us can predict tomorrow. You know what I mean? But today it will not be. You follow? And today I'm going to continue to do this. But anybody who wants to come on here and share, anybody who want to, it don't even have to be, you know, what we talking about. You know, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. You know what I mean? But to stand up and love yourself and to share all the things that we've done, I get a little more graphic in mine. You know, that's just where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I have to cleanse these things from my system. You know what I mean? Like I said, that matrix is still up there. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm still finding pieces to put back together. It may take me the rest of my life, but guess what? I'm gaining more and more every day. You know what I mean? And I pray every day. Sometimes I pray all day. You know what I mean? And I live and carry the serenity prayer with me. Girl, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's what gives me the strength and the power to deal with the people, places, and things. Oh my God. You hear what I'm saying? I'm going to bring it up to you. I'm going to get you. You deal with the people, places, and things. But see, I don't go around it anymore. I go where winners win. You follow what I'm saying? And I left all that alone. Not that I'm special, not that I'm better than anybody, it's just what I have to do for me. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is about the I. You follow? But when we come on and share and offer you our strengths and hopes, it's about we. We become a we. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what they know. It don't matter what they seen. I have to matter what I've done.
You better know.
I have to know where I've been. I have to
high.
forgive me.
Yes.
People may
Yes.
not ever forgive me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I pray for them.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I pray for them because my lie today is my truths.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the lies is what keep me strong.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I got to look back and surrender to all those lies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I don't live in a pretend world no more.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't live in a world of all that destruction. You know what I mean? And doing drugs and all that stuff no more.
Yes.
I don't have to be out in
Yes.
society, which was my first drug,
Yes.
as it welcomed you into it, as you said, because you lived in a home where it was strict and you didn't get out, and you became basically adulthood before you can live as a child,
Yes.
and before you can come out as a child. You follow what I'm saying? That's right. You know, it reminds me of when I was getting high with just, my two sons. I had them living adult life. They was being mom and dad to each other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking it's okay because I know they could do it. Not taking in consideration how they were feeling about it. You know what I mean? And how I hurt them. So I know we hurt our loved ones. We hurt our people. And then when I got clean, I expect for them to forget about it.
Yeah, no.
Well, people don't forget because they're human.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they have a right to be angry. They have a right to be mad. But if they don't want to lift that, once they see, because I'm not going to prove to anybody where I'm at. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not going to go out there and prove to anybody, who I am today, because it's too much work for me to continue to do it for myself. You know what I mean? It's going to come natural. And a real person, a human person who say that they love God too, it should be a forgiving person.
Yes.
From what I learned. You follow what I'm saying? And if they're not, you live and let God.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? So don't worry about those things that people is saying because they knew where you was and what you was doing. Hell, I used to call you crazy too. You follow what I'm saying? And who am I to call? Who was a crazy you calling another person crazy?
When people say that, what do they mean?
They mean because we out there in active
when they say
addiction.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what they
try to
think
clean it up and say, "Oh, I don't mean it like that. I mean funny."
Yeah, no,
but
they meant it like that.
I correct people.
They meant it like that.
No, my name is Jewel.
Absolutely, and you know what I tell them? I damn sure am. I'm crazy as hell. I ain't got no shame to the game. I was a nutball. I was this. I saw myself. I did it all. I can share these things today. You know why? Because it has cleansed me to do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's no lie.
Yes.
It's no lie. I learned to live the truth today. That's why this is called living in my truth.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? And I still got cleansing to do, as I say.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or as I said. We're going to always dig deep.
Yes.
Because the deeper that we go, the more we find.
Yes.
And the more I find, sometimes I didn't even remember. Sometimes something that happened and it'd be like, dang. Yeah, you'd be like, dang.
Yes.
You know? Dang, I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we done so much under the influence of the DIS/EASE. And now we understand what the DISEASE means.
Yeah.
We know how to fight it now. We know how to surrender to it now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you have to learn how to do all these things. And I say power to everybody who just stopped. Power to everybody who can go to work and have a normal day, as you call it. You follow what I'm saying? But it just don't work for me that way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And again, it takes its time to do what it does for you to die. You know what I mean? It do a check-in or don't it?
Check-in.
And you were saying you have to keep that person in. Well, I call my sickness Trey. Trey is in remission. She's cancer. That's what she is.
Yes.
She's cancer.
Yes.
Sickness is cancer to me.
Yes.
Because it can come back. Because it never goes away.
No,
you know what I mean? But as long as I take my medication and do what I gotta do with the 12 steps, my sister, it's gonna stay right where it's at. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not dying on top of me, not today.
And I gotta let you know, sometimes you had drug dreams.
Girl, I thought I was shooting
my
out.
God, wait a minute. And when I had them dreams, I would wake up
Y'all hear this?
Thank God it was a dream. And someone in the 12 step program used to say, well, you're going to have drug dreams. Football players dream about making touchdowns.
Exactly. You know my sponsor told me? She said, did you use? I said, no. She said, well, it's only a dream.
That's
you
right.
You made the better choice. You know what I'm saying? Basically, she was saying,
that's
how baffling disease
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
This is what I'm saying, y'all. It's just not using. Using is a part of it.
Mhm.
Drinking is a
Only the
part
tip.
of it. It's the
Yes.
thinking and it's the emotions that you cannot allow to separate anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's what the sickness of it all does.
Mhm.
It takes your thinking and it breaks it up in all little tiny pieces. They all over the place. And you ain't got no control. I call it the matrix.
Oh
You know what I'm
my
saying?
God.
And then it takes your emotions first, where you just don't care because you can't feel. You just can't feel. And when disease is hungry, it's either going to make you hurt through your emotions or it's going to make you hurt through your thinking.
Yes.
So one can't work without the other to battle it. So we have to learn how to put these two things back together as homies again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And keep it that way, but for the grace of God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And find a higher power in ourselves that's greater than ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That can help restore our sanity.
Yes.
You know, so that's another part of the 12 traditions, the 12 steps, you know, that brought me to my understanding.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And to my higher power. I was just talking to my cousin today about that. You know what I mean? How I found God. You know, being raised up with him. You know what I mean? But that wasn't because I chose to. That was because I had to.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had to do. We had to go to church every Sunday. We had to be on the choir. We had to become ushers. You know what I mean? But at the same time, as a little girl, I'm seeing all kinds of stuff that God's supposed to protect me from that I thought, you know what I mean, that I wasn't being protected from.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? So I have a little vengeance on that point. You know, I thank God today that I have that understanding with him today. You know what I mean? And it took all of that and drugs to get me where I'm at today. So I thank the little beast. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, sis?
Yes.
I thank the little beast. You know what I mean? I thank society. I thank all of that because guess what? Today I do have the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes.
Today I do, my main priority is to stay clean and to continue to be loved by them same children that I hurt. You know what I mean? That bear their children that I love. And then their children is bearing children that I love. So I'm a 3-time arounder, you know what I'm saying? A mom, a grandmom, and a great-grandmom. You follow what I'm saying? And I got a circle around me that's absolutely stunning. You follow what I'm saying? Because I know how to pick and choose where and what and who I need around me and who I don't. And that don't mean I don't think about everybody else because I love everybody. You follow what I'm saying? I learned how to forgive people that done things to me so that my weight can be lifted.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? And it's okay today.
Yes.
It's okay today. Like you said, some ain't here, some still here. You know what I mean? But I forgave them.
Yes,
I forgave them and I pray for them too.
Yes, you have to.
You follow what I'm saying? And I walk past them sometimes and say hello. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? Because I'm okay today. I'm okay today. God, we have a forgiving God.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
who taught me how to forgive.
We have to,
you know?
We have to forgive
so
others.
you have to give others. And when I see people that's like me, you know, I used to be like, oh, you're just a junkie. You're just broke down. You know what I mean? They are people. They are people hurting and suffering and don't know how to get out the tunnel.
Don't know how to get out.
Don't know how to get out the tunnel because they still trapped in the storm. You know, and that's some people, unlike us, who even get high, that's in the tunnel of society and don't know how to get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some that's trying to find church and don't know how to get in.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Oh
because they
God,
still trapped in society. They're still trapped in a tunnel of their own. You know what I mean? That it's so hard and they fear trying to figure it out. You know? It's some that think they already got it, but still got things that needs to be changed and still got growing to do. You know what I mean? I'm no better than anybody that walks this earth.
No,
but I do know
better than nobody.
You better know.
Ain't no big eyes, little you.
You better ain't
Somebody
no thing like
cut
that's the bougie people. You know
Somebody
what I
cut
mean? You gonna believe
cut
it.
me.
That's
gonna
right.
believe the same color.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I say about people who are still functional and sociable. I'm not hating on that. I was once one of them too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But my travel and my road and my choices and my decisions took me deeper into the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't get out.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying? I saw the opening. I just couldn't get close enough to get out because disease drugged me back in. Through emotions, through sickness, through pain, through hate. You know what I mean?
That's
you know,
when
it was just in the
comes.
way.
That's when it comes the most, when you're in pain.
Absolutely.
I don't cry.
Absolutely.
I don't
Cry.
cry
Oh my
so
gosh.
many tears since I've been clean.
Girl,
It ain't
but they're
even
good tears though.
Yes.
Don't you feel good to feel good though?
Yes.
Because we ain't used to be able to feel what's good. You know what I mean? Disease takes that, y'all. It takes it from us. And we don't care. You know what I mean? We got to learn what feels good feels like. You know what I mean? We got to learn what honesty is.
Yes.
We got to learn what love feels like.
Yes.
And what it means, because we hurt and don't even love ourselves under the same influence that you see us under out there crazy. We forgot that we love ourselves.
Yes.
It's a mind blower. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And I hope this is helping somebody. I really do. You know what I mean? I hope y'all heard her story. I hope y'all get a little understanding of how this thing works. And for all the still suffering, you know what I mean? We praying for you at all times. You know what I mean? But we can't save you. You know what I mean? You have to accept and want to save yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And, you know, at any time you can messenger, you know, my phone, you know what I mean? And if I see you and you want to talk, hey, we'll do that. It's a conversation that's personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everybody can't do what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? Some of us are still working on things.
Yeah.
And some of us still won't allow yourself to unsuppress a lot of things. And that's normal. It's okay. Because it's on your time when you're ready.
Yeah.
You know, so not trying to make you, you know, do as I do or Jewel as Jewel done. Yeah. Our day had to be our day when we was ready as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not cured. There is none. You know what I'm saying? There is none.
I tell you, I remember when I was going to camp, it was a group of church folks. Mm-hmm. They said, can we pray for you? Can we take a minute and pray? Mm-hmm. I said, can y'all make the prayer real short? You know, I still reflect back on some of the foolish things that I've done.
Yeah.
However, I thank God that my mother was praying. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of people praying for me.
So many people was praying for us. So many people pray for us. It's and I'm glad I joined that group of people, you know, that's praying for others.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? Because I wake up every morning and thank God for waking up, and please still protect the still suffering addicts and alcoholics today, along with people and the world. I had to put the world in it because this world is on drugs. Something wrong with it.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? This thing is going crazy. You know what I mean? It's going crazy. You know?
Kind of I don't talk a lot. I mean, I can be talkative.
Yeah.
But I just...
You talked a lot tonight. I want you to know that. You talked a lot tonight. Absolutely. You talked a lot tonight. You said a lot of things. You know what I mean? And people, you know, because I hear a little bit and you like, you know, because people this and people that. Girl, when that comes to you, that's something that you have to lift off too. Mm-hmm. It's nothing but weight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's dead weight. But for as long as you allow people to affect you in ways of where you surrendered, you got work to do. You got to keep on working on that, because I look at them as my medication. You know, remember everything you knew what I was doing. Remember everything. You don't have to let it go. You know what I mean? Because I can't let it go either. You know what I mean? Yes. But you keep me aware, and you keep me on my feet, and you keep me alarmed that that's not where I want to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I've accepted those things that I can't change, and I'm changing things that I can, but I definitely have the wisdom to know the difference to learn how to live and let God today. And that's the most blessing of it all, you know, because I don't let people, you know, put weight on me. Mm-hmm. I can't afford it. Mm-hmm. Disease is too much.
Yes.
And I've been lifted a lot from that. You know what I mean? For the understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? Yes. People been praying for me this whole time. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were praying, but I understand that they were now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? People stop me and ask me, let me pray for you. Yes. You know what I mean? I said, I ain't got no time for that SHIT. You follow what I'm saying? God don't work no way.
Yeah.
That my heart was beat brutally with that.
Oh wow.
And you can look at me and never even know, especially when I'm out sitting in the bars or sitting around all cute and pretty and all that stuff, like everything is okay, but inside was ruined.
Tore.
Inside was tore up.
Oh, recovery is an inside job.
Absolutely.
You gotta get butt naked and tell everything.
Absolutely.
You know, however, some things you gotta, you know, take to certain people.
Absolutely. Like you can't tell everybody everything because we don't trust people.
That's the inside job.
Right. We don't trust people.
You don't want to bring harm to anybody.
Exactly.
So you gotta, you know, be mindful.
Yeah, you
So
know,
I
like
was
you mean
mindful today.
like not
I
saying
was
certain things
I was
on
mindful
air
because
for
I
certain
don't
people.
wanna
You don't
hurt.
have to do that.
Yes.
You don't have to
so,
do that, but you know what you have to pray for.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you pray for them.
Yes.
You pray. I pray for them.
Yeah.
I've had some things done to me. I pray for the people who's done it.
Yes.
Except for, you know, even the ones that's like you said, that's deceased and gone and everything. You know what I mean? Because I had to lift it off of me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I forgave them, not for them. I forgave them for me.
Yeah.
You understand?
For myself, yes.
And now I'm learning to forgive them
Yes.
for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But at the beginning, I had to do these things for me. That's what I was being told. You know what I'm saying? That's what the 12 steps was teaching me.
Yes.
You understand? So I'm on step 4. You know, I'm gonna let you know I'm still on step 4. I gotta stay there.
Oh,
I'm
that
taking
inventory.
that's
Inventory.
right. I gotta stay there because that keeps me balanced.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It keeps me on me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I can be able to deal with people, places, and things.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? So that's a step where I am. You know, a lot of the rest of the steps actually becomes a normal way of living.
Yes.
You know what I mean? For me, it becomes a normal way of living. Just like people learn, you know, the Bible and learn God. You know what I mean? It becomes normal. It becomes who you are and what you are and what God have you servicing. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty much at that point. But step 4 is a big step for me.
It is.
Big step for me.
Okay.
Big step. Yeah.
Taking that inventory.
Yeah, I got to keep that inventory
Yeah.
going on myself, girl, because there's so much more inside.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but it is. You know, and as long as I keep digging for it, you know what I mean, I get better and better and stronger and stronger.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so I try to keep weight off of me. So I pick and choose my surroundings.
Yes.
You know what I mean? My people. Who in the heck thought that Tracy Allen would be on a live talking about some freaking drugs and alcohol and recovery and all that stuff? I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine this, you know, even to be using drugs have been and destroying myself like that to have been a part of my life. But all reality, it is, and it did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got to deal with it for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God, and I thank people that come on this live, because I tell them this live is just not for what I'm trying to put out. It's for me too. You know what I mean? I get so much, and I get so hyped, and I get so energized, you know, when Wednesday come. You know what I'm saying? When Wednesdays come, you know what I mean? Because my friends, my family is here, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they see and they listen to me. You know what I mean? They listen to me without judging. You know, and if they are judging on here, you still part of my medication. You know what I mean? Because I deal with that too. You follow what I'm saying? But I'm not going to look at it for that because people are learning so much. Y'all show me some hearts if you're getting something out of this live. Has it helped you in understanding the addict? Has it helped you to even understand the parts that you have within yourself? People can have masters. People, you know, it don't matter what you got, who you are, how educated you are, and all that. You still suffering.
Yes.
You still suffering if you're doing drugs and alcohol. If you are abusing them, you are. And drugs and the disease of the addiction will make you think that you're not.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a silent killer. It's a silent killer.
Yes,
you know, it takes its very time to do it and keep you encouraged like this. Fun.
Yeah.
You know? Some of us are weaker than others. Some of us are stronger than others. Well, it tore me up. You know, it beat me down. You know, I could fight. That thing, I couldn't fight that.
Oh, my God. No,
I couldn't fight that. Girl, please. It's like getting in a ring.
You can't beat it.
Girl,
you just got to surrender to it.
You got to give it up. You know what I mean? And then, you know, y'all want to ask some questions now while we can catch them on here and focus on. There's so many people that's sharing on here. I can't go all the way back because I'll get lost from where it is. You know what I mean? That's what they need to invent. They need to invent something like I could put it on TV and we could just do it all from there. You know what I mean? People are suggesting that I need to go to a podcast. You know what I mean? But I'm okay. God got me right where He wants me to be. You know what I mean? For now, exactly. And this is what I'm gonna continue to do. You know what I mean? If I get elevated to that point, that's the point where I'll go. But right now, it's working right now for many. You know what I mean? And I'm more pleased and satisfied with that. You know. So anybody got any questions that you want to ask Jewel? You know, try to put them on now so that she could see it. you know, and answer a few as she can. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I stop, it's like 100 more questions. Darlene Bird is saying, "Hey, Jewel,
love you."
You know, hey, Ish, my niece Tia Jenkins, hello.
Tia,
Mary,
Tia, make them good cookies.
There you go.
My mom said
Mary,
the best
always
cookies
watching.
she ever tasted.
You know, Veneer, hey girl. Beleda, how are you, dear? I do see you at this particular point. Yes. Oh my God. Hey, EU. What's up, my brother? Alamar, what's happening?
Hey,
You know, Alamar.
Hi, everyone.
Everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, Dar. How are you? Mike, that's Dar. That's Darlene.
Okay.
That's Darlene.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah. That's my girl. That's my baby. We all grew up, you know, we was all in some of that crazy shit. You know what I mean? Hey, Donna, how you doing? Thanks for being on. Hey, y'all, thanks for everybody that's sending me the stars. I appreciate it. It's going to help me to do bigger and better things with this. I definitely appreciate it, y'all. Michelle said, wishing you both endless success in our recovery. She's also a recovering addict. She was on the show at one time too.
I remember Michelle.
Remember Shelly? Hey, Erica.
All women are queens. Darlene Bird.
Delphine is on here. Hey, Delphine, she sure is. Hey, you know, your girl Gina. She said, great interview for you.
That was my childhood friend.
Absolutely.
She know everything I went through.
And Veneer Bradshaw is saying, tell it, sis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess the both of us, because we was telling this thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's what didn't break you made you stronger.
Yes,
by the
did.
grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you something about that man. He's so good to me for first in my life, you being in the middle of my life. I thank him all the time. I'm loving the life I'm living right now.
Yes.
To God be the glory.
Yes.
That's absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Felicia,
that's my sister.
Oh my God, I love you.
Look at us,
you so much. You got me.
Look at us, Felicia.
Felicia.
Hey, son.
Nicole,
my son, Amir.
Nicole, are you still there? Nicole.
My daughter, Nye. Hey. You know, who else? There's so many of y'all. Hey, Valerie, Chrissy Swiggett. Hey, sis, love you. You know, I see Karen Maya, love you, sis. Yup, and my girl, Kiana Palmer. What's up?
Queen.
Congratulations, Queen. 11 years. Heck, yeah. Give Kiana some hearts, y'all. Give Kiana some hearts. I missed your live, girl. I was at work and I couldn't, get to it. Those are my group times. But you know I love you. You know you there, girl. I got to have you back because I want to put like 3 of us or 4 of us on the couch. You know what I mean? So we could talk as a group. You know what I mean? And pump off some more good stuff. Hey, Tracy. Rolly, Aretha, how you doing? Letty, you always there, always. Wanda, Amanda, oh man, there's so many of you. I appreciate everybody being on here. You know, this thing gets me lit, y'all. This is the high that I've been missing. You know what I mean? And I get toe up from the flow up, like I told y'all. You know, when I see this and have all of you sharing and listening and, looking out and giving all these good words to come back to us and keep encouraging us. Hey, Nira, how you doing, niece? Yes, indeed. I'm trying to see as many people as I possibly can, and my cousin Patrice. Oh, God, we just had our own little meeting, man. Patrice, you always build me up, no matter when I'm down, man, or when I need somebody to talk to. It's like we call each other at the right time. Okay. You know what I mean? It always happens that way with me and her. I love her so much. Shamira, Randolph, hey girl, Dawn, I tell you, look, there go my brother, EU, Dr. Emmanuel,
hey,
my brother, my niece Danielle, Norman. Oh God, there's so many of you that's on here. God is such a great God. You know what I mean? I'm so honored that y'all are actually listening, you know, and coming on. A lot of y'all know me, you know. Some of y'all know my past, some of you don't. You know, some of you looking at it like, goodness gracious, you was doing all that? Hell yeah, I was doing all that. You know what I mean? Wearing masks. You know what I mean? That I couldn't see. As my sister, Diane, she's always there. Mm-hmm. You know, and thank everybody that has Bible class at 7, mostly on Wednesdays, but you always pick up and come back to me. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. You know what I mean? You guys don't know how good I'm feeling right now. But what are mainly important is I hope that you all are getting something out of it. You know what I mean? Help you to understand a lot of your loved ones, just the still suffering addicts and alcoholics that's out there. You know, maybe you can look at them a little different now. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. And we don't have to judge and call names. You know what I mean? These people are sick. They are sick with a disease that's cunning, baffling, and powerful. You know, and as we are the same, we have to learn how to live back around people, places, and things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I mean, just keep praying for us, as we gonna keep praying for you. I know I am. Gordine, thank you for being on. You know, Rabia, love you to death. Mm-hmm. Niece, you know I love you so much, niece. You know, it's a few nieces on here. Y'all know I'm getting the shout out as much as I can. Hey Lynette, you said you was watching, my sister, my girl. You always do. I appreciate your support. Sharita, so many people, y'all. Man, I could keep going and going and going and going. You see this? Yes. You know what I mean? You see this Terry Everett, thank you. You know, some of y'all is on here I ain't seen in a long time. You know, I appreciate this. So I hope and pray that the word is traveling. It's showing me that it is. You know, and to everybody that's watching this live that I don't know, you know what I mean? But just know today we become family. You know what I mean? Today, we'll share this sickness, and I'm going to bring as much as I can on here, which is the medication for the sickness, you know, and the understanding to the people who don't understand. And I hope it's bringing you closer to your families, you know what I mean? And know that there's hope for everybody who is on these drugs and this alcohol. There is hope for everybody. Hey, Sandy Butler. You see Sandy? Yes. Bernice Knox. Thank y'all so very much. So very much. Go ahead, just pop in, girl. Marta. My friend, Marta.
Hey, Marta, it's my classmate. Hey, Queen. I just want to say, when you put down the drugs, when you go out, like, to dances or different events and stuff, you feel uncomfortable without the use of drinking. Or whatever.
See, that's why I can't do it.
No.
At times,
but at the beginning, the uncomfortability, it then becomes comfortable. Because I was so used to getting drunk and loaded and dancing, tearing the dance floor up. But now, today, I can dance without the use of any drugs, and I have so much fun. I love that go.
I mean, I'll go to parties at times. I'll have a party. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, but just to hang out, you know what I mean? And, you know, hang in certain places, bars, I just give it up. You know what I mean? But to have a good time and share, I'm not afraid of that. I have a good time, a great time when I'm out. I come out, you know, to different events, you know, and stuff like that. You know, because we can't make alcohol not be there. We can't make what people do or smoke or do whatever do. I know how to keep the focus on myself today. So I feel you on that. You know what I mean?
The message in that is the uncomfortability will become comfortable after a while.
K Scott, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, look, thanks to everybody. I hope I shouted out to my son Amir too. You know what I mean? Tyrone, Lamika, Mimi Chambers. Hey, niece. Rama, my daughter-in-law. I'm so glad to see you on here, girl. Thanks so much for coming on. Charisse, Bianca, my niece, Bianca Drawn. You know what I mean? Look at all the people that's on here. You know what I mean? Hey, y'all looked out. You know what I mean? Come on every Wednesday on this thing. Y'all got the time, pop back on. It ain't got to be no special people because it's coming no matter who's on here. Even if I'm by myself. You know, it's always something to talk about when it comes to recovery and learning tools, you know, and understanding. Hey, Yadir, praying for you, baby. You know, Myra, Javal, don't forget to call me after this. Hey, look, thanks so much. People saying, hey, Queen.
Yeah.
That's Michelle. No, Michelle Johnson, Jacqueline Nichols, Stephanie. Hey, Steph. You know, thanks everybody. And again, anybody who wants to come on here and share some strength and hope, or you know, even if you have that strength and hope on sharing about a higher power, about God, about a religion, everything helps. Every little thing can help you. You know what I mean? We have some people that are atheists, some people that don't believe in God, because I was almost there. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here now. You know what I mean? Your strength and your information, can help all of us. It can help every last one of us because we struggle with that. So even if you pastors, evangelists, whatever, you can come on here and you can share. I know how to handle myself. I know when to cuss and when not to cuss. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? When I go around, they send me places for inspirational speaking. Believe me, I'm totally on the money. You know what I'm saying? But don't let that fear you from this, from me. Or whatever, when I'm here, and I'm busting it up and I'm feeling it, you know what I mean? Our language is how I present it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the addict of us, the language of us addicts and alcoholics. We kind of understand that. Yeah. It help us beat through some things. You know what I mean? And fix some things. But, Trey know how to act when she needs to be. You know what I mean? I'm a little bit of everything. You follow it? Rosetta, I appreciate you being on here as well. I've noticed you've been on for quite some time now, So, y'all, sometimes I let it go over for this half hour. Hey, Monica. Miller, I didn't see your name either. I'm steady rolling down, y'all. I ain't come to the beginning of this thing yet because y'all have so much, awesome feedback on here as well. I can't catch it all, but I appreciate you guys. I know, Joel, you appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I thank everybody for watching. I hope you received some good information from me. I didn't want to go too deep and all that stuff. However, I gave you what God let me to give you today.
Yeah, so...
And I love you all.
Definitely love them. You know what I mean? So, with all of that, y'all, again, don't forget that every episode of Tracy Allen Living in My Truth is on YouTube. Same thing, Tracy Allen Living in My Truth. Don't forget, I have t-shirts. Anybody want to, purchase one, just, you can either put it on here or, call me by messenger. My number is on there as well. Leave it in a text, however you want to do it. I still got a few things that I got to take care of. You know what I mean? But God said when it is, and I get all this technology and all this stuff where it needs to be, it will be. But for right now, I'm doing it the best way I know how.
You're doing good.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, if you want to come on and you want to share, I do have 2 people from last week. I didn't call yet, but I will, probably, by this weekend or so, without a doubt, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Denise, who's that, Niecy? Yeah, hey, Denise, I need y'all on here, you know what I'm saying? You can share about a loved one. You can share about people that you knew. You can share about experiences that you saw. We can help each other get well. We can help each other get better. You know what I mean? We can help each other to understand, because that is what this is all about. So again, y'all know my favorite prayer is the serenity prayer. I'm going to say that before we go off. Sis, I love you so much, HUD. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, God's will. Okay? So I'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
You know what I mean? Thank you so much. Jewel says, thank you so much. See, it take me some time to get up, y'all. You know that it is. Them knees get me sometimes. Thanks, y'all. Love y'all.